Welcome to the Shermer High Alumni Association. I'm Janine,
And I'm Carol.
and we rewatch movies from the 80s to determine, did that age well?
This week's movie is Annie, a movie that asks the important question, what if capitalism, child labor, and jazz hands all came together for one wildly chaotic musical?
Join us as we rewind, rewatch, and remember the decade that shaped us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Totally phenomenal. How are you?
Oh, just great. How was your week?
Oh, I don't remember.
It was a blur, wasn't it? Were you just that out there?
It rained a lot.
It won't stop raining.
I guess the highlight of the week was driving through that hailstorm.
You did?
Oh, I was caught right in the middle of it on the highway.
Oh, no. Did
I
you have
always get caught in the
damage?
worst weather. I don't get it. It's like the weather gods are like, oh, Janine's out. You know what we should do? Have the worst weather ever.
Well,
Yeah.
we opened Pandora's box of Ming the Merciless,
Yeah,
so
this is all our fault.
it really is. Pretty sure.
Sorry, Clevelanders.
Our bad.
We didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew that it was going to start raining. I looked at the weather map before I left work and I'm like, okay, don't go along the lake. Go down south so
Yeah.
that you're avoiding this storm, okay? I'm like, all right, I'll just take 480 to 271 express lanes to 480. And I'm thinking I'm just going to hit like the very tail end or the edge of this storm and I'll be good. It'll rain, but I'll be good. No.
Yeah.
That is not what happened. I literally drove right into the eye of that storm and it was pouring so hard. Like I've driven in heavy rain. You couldn't see the car in front of you, so everybody had their flashers on. It got super dark. It started hailing. So everybody's going real slow. It starts hailing and it's just little pea-sized hail. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. It was really warm today and all of a sudden it's hailing. How did we produce hail? And so then it just started, golf ball size hail, just pelting cars. It was so loud. I'm like, that definitely caused damage. Definitely caused damage to my car. So you can't see the road because it rained so hard that the roads were covered with water.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see any of the potholes. So not only did I get pelted with that, then I ended up, because I notate all the potholes, I know where they are. There was a new one, and I ended up hitting that pothole really hard. And I'm like, okay, so if my car isn't dented all over, I definitely will end up with a flat tire. So I'm like, if I make it home in one piece, it'll be a Christmas miracle for sure. Get all the way home, pull in the driveway, and I sat in my car for a minute and I'm like, do I even want to know? Do I
Right?
even want to know? Like, my car is already super old and has 8 million miles on it. And I'm like, I
I
don't even
want to
want
get
to.
pissed off right now.
Right. I don't even want to get out. So I get out and I'm like, really, there's just like this little dent in like the top of my car, but I'm like, I don't know if that was already there. I
Yeah.
don't know. And then I'm like, okay, my tires all look all right for right now, but I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. I'm definitely going to have a flat tire. And then I woke up the next morning and my tires weren't flat. So
Yay.
I don't know. Somebody was like, we're going to hit her with this really terrible weather, but also she'll be all right.
I love that for you. That
Yes.
ended up well.
I guess I feel like maybe this is driver's ed like times a million. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, let's give her the worst possible scenarios ever and we'll just have her drive through it. Every single terrible scenario has happened to me. Car on fire, yep, happened to me. Overturned semi, yep, it's happened to me. Multi-car accident, yep, it's happened to me. I've driven through like the worst snowstorms, the worst rainstorms, thunder, lightning, you name it. I've driven through it.
Well, you're a pro now.
I guess. I feel like I should get a prize. Ooh, I could wear like a medal around my neck that says like world's most experienced driver.
Yeah, or like a gold-plated driver's license.
Ooh,
Yeah.
state of
I've
Ohio. You're
I've
gonna have
got the
to get on.
golden
I've got
ticket.
the golden license. I can drive through all this shit and crap. That's me.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, I have some of the worst commutes.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. I drive
I
around 70 miles round trip every day, and
Yeah,
it definitely gives me some experience.
that's true.
Yeah, it's
You're a bigger, better person for it now.
no, not at all.
Oh,
How was your week?
it's just fine, just a little under the weather and making progress on our destroyed basement. So we're getting there.
That's fun. That's a
Yeah,
lot of
we're
fun.
we're in the final drywall stage. We get to
Oh,
start flooring beginning of the week. Get the child back into her bedroom. And
she's
yeah,
displaced.
she is displaced, but we're
Oh,
getting through it. She got her new MacBook, so she's happy about that,
that's great.
and a new
That
book
is
bag.
nice.
Yeah,
She's getting a new book bag like towards the end of the school year.
right. But she can take it to college with her, so it's fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
And insurance paid for it.
and you can use a book bag forever.
You really can.
Always find a use for a book bag. So
Exactly.
it's an investment, I guess.
It
It's a
is.
lifetime investment. So, should we talk about the movie?
Let's do that.
So, this week's movie is Annie. Annie follows a spirited young orphan living in New York City during the Great Depression. Stuck in a strict and often miserable orphanage run by the bitter Miss Hannigan, Annie refuses to give up hope that her parents will one day return for her. Her life takes an unexpected turn when billionaire Oliver, Daddy Warbucks, invites her to stay at his mansion for a week as part of a publicity campaign. What starts as a temporary arrangement quickly turns into something more as Annie's optimism begins to soften Warbucks' tough exterior. Meanwhile, Miss Hannigan teams up with her scheming brother and his girlfriend to try and pretend to be Annie's parents in order to collect a large reward. With plenty of music, humor, and heart, the story follows Annie as she navigates this new world, all while holding on to her belief that things will get better no matter how hard life gets.
How optimistic.
Yeah. The sun will come out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, unless you
Yeah.
live in Cleveland.
You just never know.
You
Every day's just a crapshoot.
It really is.
The weather might say it's going to be nice and it's pouring rain. You just never know.
Yeah, there's that saying, dress for the weather, but in Cleveland, you dress for every weather.
You got to have a coat in your car ready to go. You should have some rain boots ready to go, an
Right.
umbrella, maybe a fleece jacket in case it's a little colder. You just got to be prepared for everything.
And a hat.
Yeah, I don't wear
Yeah.
hats.
Okay.
So who's in this
Well,
movie?
we have Aileen Quinn, who was born Aileen Marie Quinn, born June 28th of 1971, who is an American actress, singer, and dancer best known for her title role in this film, Annie, a performance that earned her 2 Golden Globe nominations when she was just 9 years old. That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah.
Good for her. Before landing Annie, she appeared in a number of classic 80s commercials. Yes, those iconic snack ads. But the film quickly launched her into the spotlight. The Annie soundtrack went platinum, and she even released her own album, Bobby's Girl, the same year. Rather than fading out after her childhood fame, Quinn built a long career in theater. She performed in productions like The Wizard of Oz, Bye Bye Birdie, and Oliver, and spent years touring nationally in shows like Fiddler on the Roof, Peter Pan, and Saturday Night Fever. She also studied Shakespeare in London and performed in classic productions like Twelfth Night. Outside of performing, Quinn has worked as a theater professor at Monmouth University and taught drama, Spanish, and dance at the high school level. She also fronts her own band, Aileen Quinn and the Leaping Lizards,
Nice.
releasing albums as recently as 2019. And yes, she will always be Annie to us.
Yes. We also have Albert Finney. Albert Finney was a highly acclaimed English actor known for his powerful performances across film, television, and stage. Born on May 9th, 1936, in Salford, England, he rose to fame in the 1960s as part of the British new wave of actors. Finney starred in a wide range of films, including Tom Jones, Murder on the Orient Express, Erin Brockovich, and Big Fish. He was nominated for 5 Academy Awards over his career and won multiple Golden Globe, BAFTA, and Emmy Awards. To many audiences, especially to 80s kids, he is best remembered for playing billionaire Oliver Daddy Warbucks in Annie, where his gruff demeanor is gradually softened by the optimistic young orphan. Albert Finney passed away on February 7th of 2019, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most respected actors of his generation.
We also have Carol Burnett. She is a legendary American actress, comedian, and singer, widely known for her groundbreaking work in television comedy. She was born on April 26, 1933, in San Antonio, Texas, and she rose to fame as a star of The Carol Burnett Show, a hugely popular variety and sketch comedy series that ran from 1967 to 1978 and became a defining part of American TV history. Burnett is celebrated for her unmatched comedic timing, physical humor, and ability to seamlessly balance comedy and heartfelt moments. Over her career, she has won numerous awards, including multiple Emmy Awards, Golden Globes, and a Presidential Medal of Freedom. For 80s audiences, she is especially memorable as the hilariously over the top Miss Hannigan in Annie, where she brought both comedy and chaos to the role of the orphanage's delightfully awful caretaker. Carol Burnett remains an icon of comedy and entertainment with a career spanning more than 6 decades.
She's 93.
That's insane. But
Yeah,
which isn't surprising because she just seems like she has always been around. Because she has.
forever she has.
Ever.
I mean,
Forever and ever, ever.
at least as long as I've been alive,
Yes.
which is about 200 years. Wow.
I think we could almost combine our ages to get her age.
Almost.
Whoa.
Yes. We also have Bernadette Peters. Bernadette Peters is an acclaimed American actress and singer known for her work in film, television, and especially musical theater. Born on February 28th, 1948, in New York City, she became one of Broadway's most celebrated performers, particularly for her collaborations with composer Stephen Sondheim. Peters has starred in numerous stage productions, including Sunday in the Park with George, Into the Woods, and Annie Get Your Gun, earning multiple Tony Awards for her performances. In film, she is well known to 80s audiences for her role as Lily St. Regis, the glamorous but scheming accomplice in Annie. In addition to her acting career, Peters is also a best selling recording artist and a dedicated advocate for animal welfare.
Woohoo!
As of today, Bernadette Peters is still living and continues to be recognized as one of the most iconic performers in musical theater history.
Word. We also have Anne Reinking, and she is a celebrated American actress, dancer, and choreographer, best known for her work on Broadway and in film. She was born on November 10th, 1949, in Seattle, Washington, and rose to prominence as one of the leading dancers of her generation, particularly through her collaborations with legendary choreographer,
Choreographer.
choreographer Bob Fosse.
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 Sure.
Bob Fosse.
Bob Fosse.
Rankings starred in numerous Broadway productions, including Chicago, Sweet Charity, and Dancin', earning Tony Award nominations and later winning a Tony Award for Best Choreography for the 1996 revival of Chicago. For 80s audiences, she is especially remembered for her role as Grace Farrell, the poised and kind-hearted assistant to Daddy Warbucks and Annie. Anne Reinking passed away on December 12th, 2020, and is remembered as an iconic figure in musical theater whose influence continues to inspire performers today.
Yes. And we have the iconic Tim Curry. Tim Curry is a legendary English actor, singer, and performer known for his unforgettable, often eccentric roles across film, television, and stage. Born on April 19th, 1946, which happens to be this Sunday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Tim Curry.
In 1946, so how old would he be?
80.
80, yeah, okay. In Cheshire, England, Curry built a career defined by bold characters, commanding presence, and a voice you instantly recognize. He gained he first gained major fame as Dr. Frankenfurter in the cult classic The Rocky Horror Picture Show, a role that cemented his status as a pop culture icon. Over the years, he appeared in a wide variety of films, including Clue, Legend, and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, showcasing both his comedic timing and flair for villainous roles. For 80s audiences, Curry is especially memorable as the sly and scheming Rooster Hannigan in Annie, where he teams up with Miss Hannigan and Lily in a plot to scam Daddy Warbucks. In addition to his on screen work, Curry has had a successful voice acting career with roles in numerous animated series and films. In 2012, he suffered a major stroke, which limited his mobility, but he has continued to make public appearances and remains deeply admired by fans. Tim Curry's career spans decades, and he is widely regarded as one of the most distinctive and beloved character actors of his generation.
We also have Jeffrey Holder, who is a multi talented performer known for his work as an actor, dancer, choreographer, director, and artist. He was born August 1st, 1930, in the port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. He brought a distinctive presence, deep voice, and striking style to every role he played. Holder gained widespread recognition for his performances in film and television, including his role as the villain Baron Samedi in the James Bond film Live and Let Die. For 80s audiences, he is also remembered as Punjab, Daddy Warbucks' loyal and mystical bodyguard in Annie. Beyond acting, Holder had an accomplished career in dance and theater. Beyond acting, Holder had an accomplished career in dance and theater. He won 2 Tony Awards for his work on the Broadway production The Wiz for both direction and costume design, showcasing his wide-ranging creative talents. Jeffrey Holder passed away on October 5th, 2014, and is remembered as a groundbreaking artist whose influence spanned multiple areas of the performing arts.
And finally, we have Edward Herrmann. Edward Herrmann was a respected American actor known for his distinguished voice, commanding presence, and wide ranging work in film, television, and theater. Born on July 21st, 1943, in Washington, D.C., he built a long and successful career playing
Yes.
oh my God, Okay. Born on July 21st, 1943, in Washington, D.C., he built a long and successful career playing authoritative and often refined characters. Herman appeared in numerous films, including The Great Gatsby, The Lost Boys, and Overboard. For 80s audiences, he is especially remembered for his role as President Franklin D. Roosevelt in Annie, where he brings warmth and charm to the brief but memorable appearance. He was also widely recognized by a later generation for his role as Richard Gilmore on the TV series Gilmore Girls, earning him renewed popularity with younger audiences. Over the course of his career, Herman won an Emmy Award and was nominated for multiple Tony Awards for his stage work. Edward Herman passed away on December 31st, 2014, and is remembered as a versatile and beloved actor with a career spanning decades.
This was released May 21st of 1982. So we would like to wish Annie a very happy 44th birthday.
Yay! You're
Yay!
old!
This came out when I was almost 1.
You're old!
Thanks. I'm
You're
younger than
welcome.
you.
Shut up.
Okay. And it's rated PG. It had a budget of $35 million.
Holy granola.
That's up there with Short Circuit.
Yeah.
That's
And they
Short
didn't even
Circuit
have any
territory.
robots in this one.
No robots. No talking robots. Nope. Nope. Then 57.1 million. So it did decent.
Yeah, it did all right. I mean, you'd think with a budget of 35 million, they'd want to make
At least double.
at least double. But hey, it could have been a big flop. So it did all right.
It's fine.
So principal photography took place in 1981 over the course of 6 weeks at, is it Monmouth? I'm going to say Monmouth College, now Monmouth University in West Long Branch, New Jersey, which has 2 mansions that were used in the film, one of which is the Shadow Lawn Mansion. The NX Bridge, an abandoned railroad bridge over the Passaic River in Newark, was used for location shooting of one of the climactic scenes. Many of the street sets were filmed at the Warner Brothers Burbank studios. Production designer Dale Hennessy overhauled the old Tenement Street backlot set at Warner Brothers by outfitting many of the New York style department and storefront facades with actual New York fire escapes and other treatments specifically brought in for this production. Hennessy died during filming, and the backlot set was renamed Hennessy Street in honor of the late production designer. That's sad.
So were you happy to rewatch this
Let's just say that the songs were really stuck in my head.
all week
Yeah.
or
It's
all your life?
I mean, most of my life, I feel like there was a clearing period where I didn't think about Annie, and now I'm thinking about it again.
All right. You ready to get into it?
I was born ready.
Let's do it. All right. To set the scene, we are in 1933, New York City during the Great Depression. We come in with The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow playing in the background, and we see the characters and actors and actresses introduced along with some other credits, yada, yada, yada. We then see a plaque for the Hudson Street Home for Girls, and Annie starts singing the song Maybe, a song about the life her biological parents must have, and maybe they will call for her one day. Annie appears to be a go-to for the girls in the home as a comforter, especially to Molly. The girls get into a fight, and Annie takes control of the situation. Annie tells Molly to dream about the folks that may want to adopt her one day. Mrs. Hannigan appears 3 sheets to the wind in her brothel-looking gear and gets the girls out of bed. To give a little perspective here, the girls in this room are Molly, Julie, Kate, Pepper, Tessie, and Duffy. And Miss Hannigan makes them clean in the middle of the night. Miss Hannigan says, Why a kid would want to be an orphan is beyond me. What the hell, Mrs. Hannigan? Like these kids decided they just wanted to be orphans?
Yeah, they had a choice.
That was a dick move.
They just decided they wanted to be orphans.
Right. It's not like these little girls just ran away and decided to just go stay at her shitty place. Annie stomps on Miss Hannigan's feet, and that leads to the iconic It's a Hard Knock Life. There's a shitload of girls now, like a ton of them. And in classic musical fashion, there's dancing montages and choreographed acts. It's now daylight, so they must have been cleaning for hours if they started cleaning in the middle of the night. Molly now acts like Miss Hannigan, bossing the girls around, and a pillow fight ensues, which does not help the cleaning mission. Annie ends up in the linen basket to try and run away. The girls constantly have to say, "We love you, Miss Hannigan." She goes outside and seduces the linen guy. He grabs the linen bin. Mind you, Annie is in it, and he realizes what's going on. So it's a little heavier than usual. But he distracts Hannigan and closes the door of the truck, and Annie is off. He unloads her. She thanks Mr. Bundle, who is the truck driver, and he says, "Good luck." She moseys down the street, and she notices a cop is following her. She runs, he runs. She hides, and he loses her. And now Annie sees a dog being chased. She runs after the dog and the kids chasing the dog and clocks the kid who pushes her. She takes on 5 kids and rescues this dog. Good for her.
Yes, hell yes. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Except I don't think I would have only punched one kid.
No, I would have, and I don't condone violence, but I feel
Me
like she could
neither.
have, if the opportunity presented it, if she could have, I feel she was fully prepared to clock some more of them, as well she
Yes.
should have. They were being
Yes.
mean to the dog. Annie calls him a dumb dog, but the dog follows her because that's what dogs do. They love people, especially people that are kind to them, and she was. The song Dumb Dog now plays. The dog catcher is out and snags the dog. But Annie says that her father is blind and the dog leads him to work. And she says the dog's name is Sandy. She is put to the test to call him by his name and see if he obeys her. She calls the dog and he does go over to her. But the cop is right there and he takes Annie and Sandy right back to the Hudson Street home. Hannigan flirts with the cop, which is now gross. We're about 5 minutes into this movie and she's just hitting on anything with a dick. So Sandy is now inside of the home that he was snuck into, and all of the girls at the orphanage love the dog, but he smells. They sing about new names for him. They come up with Rover, but Annie declares that his name is Sandy. Sandy is a comfort to the girls because he will always be there. Now Hannigan is coming, and they hide Sandy. Sandy is uncovered by Hannigan, and Annie is now in trouble, and she threatens Annie to the paddle closet and the dog to the sausage factory. Fuck off, Hannigan. Don't you ever threaten a dog to go to a sausage factory.
Yeah, she's an asshole.
So, our next scene, we have a fancy ass car with a well to do woman that steps outside of it. She rings the bell to the orphanage and introduces herself as Grace Farrell. The Board of Orphans had sent her. She's inquiring about an orphan. Hannigan explains the story on how Annie escaped, but that's not why Grace is there. Grace is the private secretary to Oliver Warbucks. He wants to invite an orphan to spend a week with him at his home. She must be friendly, intelligent, and happy. Age doesn't matter, but Annie popping out from the closet and motioning Grace to say that Warbucks would like a 10-year-old and prefers redheads. Annie emerges and Hannigan says Annie's a drunk. Okay. Grace can have any orphan besides Annie, according to Hannigan. They fight over her and bicker back and forth that Warbucks is friends with the director of orphanages and Hannigan's job is on the line. The limo is waiting for Annie. Annie says she won't come if Sandy can't. So the dog can come. The girls wave goodbye, and Annie says she will be back with presents. They now roll into Warbucks's magnificent estate. Annie thinks it's a train station, it's so big. Sandy barks at Punjab, but he works some voodoo to calm Sandy down. I feel the musical number is coming on. Grace introduces Sandy and Annie to the staff. Grace asks Annie what she would like to do first. She mentions some of the cleaning chores, but then she's informed that she's a guest. And here's our musical number with I Think I'm Gonna Like It Here. So, this is the part of the movie where I started questioning like, what's the goal here? This rich dude wants a little girl to stay in his mansion for a week and get grade A treatment, but then send him back? Doesn't that seem mean?
So, okay, let's put this like in perspective. If you don't know anything about the movie, okay? Let's just put the facts out there, okay? He's an older white man who is of power. He has some sort of powerful position. He's not married. He doesn't have any children of his own. And he wants to borrow a child for a week.
Right. Red
This
flag.
screams Epstein files. And
Yes.
you I understand that this was what supposed to be 1933 or something.
Yes.
What was the idea behind this? Was that I get it that it was for publicity, but like how? That he's supposed to be a nice guy? I thought his whole persona was that he was an ass.
Right.
So what was he trying to prove? That like he's an asshole, but he also might care about orphan children for 1 week?
Right. And even that out as a publicity stunt sends a message to people like, yeah, why? I understand taking in a group of them.
Or maybe donating a whole bunch of money to update the orphanage or feed them proper food or something. But like,
Right. Yeah.
why take in just one child? And
Right.
it's just weird. It's
It
weird.
is.
So,
So
anyway,
this is what gets you going into the movie to explain what the hell is happening here. So now the staff is dancing and the gardener is scaling the wall to bring Annie flowers, but it kind of looks like they're just weeds. But anyway, it's more than she's had. Mr. Warbucks has finally arrived home and he meets Annie and Sandy. And now we realize this is a press stunt to show an orphan living with him for a week for his image. But he wanted a boy. Annie is convincing Warbucks that
which
she
is
would.
weird.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So now he wants a little boy to stay with him for a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So Annie convinces Warbucks that she would be fine going back to the orphanage because she's already had enough fun to last her for years. And then Warbucks just gets to the point where he says that she can stay. And he really doesn't seem to give a crap at this point. Back at the orphanage, Harrigan is singing Little Girls about her disdain for the girls. And of course, she's tanked, and the girls are taunting her. The way she sings this is so funny. Like it really
She,
brings it brings out the Carol Burnett.
yeah. And so is this the part where she's like making out with the radio? So
Yeah.
she's making out with the radio, like kissing the radio, and then she starts singing the song about how basically she pops the head off of this doll, and the whole song is about how she just wants to murder little children. Like you run an orphanage, and hey, no big deal. I'm just gonna sing a song about how much I want to kill little kids.
I mean, and what is she getting out of this situation? It sure doesn't seem like wonderful living situation. She doesn't seem to be
It was the Great
flooded with
Depression.
money.
It was
Right,
the Great Depression, so I guess I'm picturing that it was a job.
right,
She was getting paid, she was getting housed. So I guess it makes sense. She was a woman who is unmarried. So she didn't have a husband to take care of her, which back in the 30s, women didn't really work.
right.
Their husbands brought home the bacon. And I'm guessing that because she was a single woman, unmarried, this was a rarity that she had a job, that she was making her own money. And so I'm guessing she had to do whatever she could to hold on to that because where would she go from there?
Right. That's very
So,
true.
yeah.
She has a job with girls that she really does not like, and she's singing about it. But then we see her brother Rooster and his girlfriend, Lily, I guess, girlfriend, wife, whatever. They and Lily are now in Hannigan's room. And we find out that her brother has gotten out of jail early. Bravo. Good for you, buddy. And Rooster is asking Hannigan for money, of course, and steals some of her stuff while she's over talking to Lily. They leave, and then Hannigan notices that her stuff is gone. The orphans are in bed singing Maybe again. And now back at Warbucks mansion, someone is breaking into we have an intruder on the property. And Sandy is being a good girl, and she is warning about it with barking. A bomb is thrown into the house, and Punjab throws it out like nothing major has just happened.
I
And
love how the dog is kind of like the hero in that
oh, totally.
Sandy sees the guy out there and notifies Punjab that, hey, there's something going on out there.
Yeah.
So good job, Sandy. We have to notate all the good dog stuff.
Good dog. They do get the terrorist, and Warbucks compliments Sandy, saying good job. So I loved that. And then we find out that it's the Bolsheviks that want to kill Warbucks. Okay. So now Warbucks is in his indoor pool, and Sandy says, "Oh yeah," and dives right in to save him because he's just floating in the pool. Looks like he's dead. So good job, good dog. But doesn't need
Yeah,
to be saved.
for just like a stray dog, like he does a lot to help them out.
He's got intuition, man.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves to be able to live in that mansion.
Absolutely. And seems pretty well needed.
Yes.
Now, Annie tells Warbucks that girls are easier to get along with than boys and spills the tea that Grace thinks Warbucks is better than sliced bread. And Annie is driving Warbucks nuts, and it's decided to take her to Radio City Music Hall. Warbucks buys out the 8 o'clock show so they can all go to the movies. And this is when we hear the classic, "Let's go to the movies."
Let's go
Take it.
to the movies. Let's go see the stars. Welcome to the movies anyway. And see. I still sing that when we go to the movies.
Thank you. I have that noted. This is a classic song you have to sing when you go to the movies.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry. I didn't sing that very well, but you get
You
the.
you did wonderfully. You did great. So as this is playing, actually Grace is singing it, and her and Annie are getting ready for their big night outs. And they hop in the car with Warbucks and head to Radio City Music Hall. Now the ushers are singing it, and Annie is in her glory. The live band is gearing up, and we see Warbucks finally show some tenderness towards Annie. The Radio City Girls do their thing, and the movie Camille with Greta Garbo and Robert Taylor comes on the big screen. Long story short, in the movie, Marguerite in Camille dies. That's all you need to know. So now Annie is sleeping, Grace is crying, and Warbucks is just there. Warbucks carries Annie out of the theater, and him and Grace put her to bed back at the mansion. He grabs her nightgown, and it's a cute little coupley thing that they're doing, putting her to bed. He realizes that he did put her to bed. And once he sees Grace kiss Annie goodnight, his demeanor changes. Now, the next day, Grace asks Warbucks if they can keep Annie, which is like so possessive.
Yeah,
Like, I get the sentiment, but it's like,
that whole part is it's on the cringe scale because then she sings the song "We Got Annie," and it's like
right,
it's very possessive, like they won her,
right,
or
bought her, or
yeah,
it's
it's cringe.
which in a way, I don't want to get
And
too
like
deep, but
they had only been with her for what, one night at this point?
yeah, I feel like it's been 2 days.
Yeah, like one night and like part of a day. And like
Yeah,
they've already decided they're gonna keep her? Like they
it,
don't even know her.
right. They're still getting the honeymoon phase.
Yeah. This is, I mean, wait until this kid shows her true colors.
Wait until she's a teenager.
And plus, Annie is very street smart.
Yeah.
She's very resourceful. And so I don't know, man. If it was me, I'd probably want to get to know this kid a little bit better before I'm like, hey, we've hung out with her for 24 hours and yeah, we should just keep her.
Yeah. The whole purchasing of children is I
Yeah,
I
red flags
yeah. I understand there are children in systems that need to be housed, but
for sure.
you could just
The way that this whole situation started, the whole arrangement, the way it started
yeah.
was wrong. If he wanted to adopt a child from the beginning
Right.
and he wanted to give like a child a much better life, that's different.
Correct.
But it was the fact that he was doing it for his own personal
Personal gain.
gain and then yeah, let's just keep her.
Right.
Like I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And again, I'm trying to think, okay, this is supposed to be 1933. But did that stuff happen in 1933? That like people were just, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird.
I mean, I guess there is that concept today where foster children are put into homes and parents have that option if the situation arises to keep a child.
Imagine that
But
this
it's like,
is, okay, hold on. Imagine that this is a billionaire, okay? In 2026, a billionaire who decides I'm going to borrow a child from an orphanage or the foster care system for 1 week just to make myself look good. Now, I'm sure you can picture
no.
some people in your head that immediately pop in your head that you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
And though that person, just whoever you're picturing in your head, borrows a child for a week, we're all going to
Yeah,
go,
it's
what in the actual fuck is this?
yeah, I don't even think you can just borrow a kid for a week. Like it doesn't work that way.
Listen, if you want to help out kids in the foster care system, hell
There
yes.
there are many ways to
One
do that,
million percent I agree with that.
but
But the
not teasing them into a life they're not going to have it in the future, most likely.
right. I mean, if you
That's just
wanted to
mean.
sponsor a kid and pay for them for their tuition or pay for their clothing, pay for their care, that's fantastic. But
Right.
just the way that this was approached is weird.
It is. So, Grace wants to keep Annie, and she explains about how horrible the orphanage is. And Grace says that she would take care of her, but Warbucks is a businessman and will never have children, he says. He says that Grace is pretty when she argues with him, and he is now Oliver to her. He says her teeth are crooked, and she says she'll have them fixed, but he likes them.
Weird.
Warbucks agrees to adopt Annie. So this leads into our number of We Got Annie, and they begin celebrating the upcoming adoption. The orphanage girls are now marching, saying Hard Knock Life. And Hannigan gets a mouse put down her robe, and the girls laugh at her. Now Warbucks is at the door, and he tells Hannigan he wants to adopt Annie. But Hannigan screams Hannigan goes into the door and screams, opens the door back up, and invites him into her office. The girls are in the orphanage just slaving away with their cleaning chores. And Hannigan is again a big whore that hits on Warbucks, which leads to the singing of the song Sign. In the song, Warbucks calls out Hannigan for being a shitty fucking person. And if she doesn't sign, then she'll go to jail. She signs the adoption paperwork. And back at the mansion, Grace comes in with a Tiffany's box to give Annie. Annie comes running in and kicks Warbucks with her newly learned karate move. But Punjab magically heals him. And Annie and Warbucks are alone, and they have a man-to-man talk and go for a walk. Warbucks gives some background on himself, on how he grew up and how he became successful. They go back inside, and he gives her an engraved locket. But she explains that she wants to keep her old broken locket since her parents left a note saying that they have the other half and they would be back for her. And she has to find them. And Warbucks says that he will help her do that. He then goes on the radio and they are singing, "You're never fully dressed without a smile."
Iodent.
Perfect. How you remember these things, I have just
I don't know. I don't
boggles
know.
my mind. But you nail it. You kill it. So he introduces a little orphan named Annie. Warbucks announces that he is announcing a coast-to-coast search for Annie's parents and offering a $50,000 cash reward. What is that in today's world? Oh, that's about 1.3 million, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Hey, yeah, I mean that's generous.
Wow. I
Well,
mean, I guess now it makes more sense why they did it, why they
why
pretended.
everyone freaked out about it? Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
especially during the Great Depression.
Hell yeah.
He seemed to have botched the announcement in a sense, but it was still funny. You just need to go watch it. But he was reading every single line of the script, including actions, so it was pretty humorous.
Drop paper.
Yes. The orphans are listening to the radio and do their own act to the song. And wasted Hannigan gets up to hear happiness in the room. But Molly steps on her foot again. They all love to step on our feet. And now tons of people are responding to the parent search. And Punjab is making flowers fly around because he's just a magician.
Yeah,
And Annie is going to Washington to meet the president.
no big deal.
No big deal at all. And her and Warbucks are in an autocopter.
Which, okay, side note on the autocopter. This is like a convertible helicopter that is like you're just open out there. It
Yeah.
looks like it's made out of cardboard boxes and it just does not look safe at all. You're
No.
not getting me in that thing. Nope, no thank you. I'm sorry. No can do on the convertible helicopter.
So now I wonder what the trip is from New York City to Washington, D.C. in a 1933 autocopter.
Okay, let's look that up.
Even if we knew what a helicopter ride is, we could
It says
make it a fraction of that.
a 1933 Aero autogyro, often referred to as the autocopter, such as a Pitcame or early Cierva model, would take approximately 2.5 to 3.5 hours to travel from New York City to Washington, D.C., assuming an average cruise speed of around 80 to 100 miles per hour over a direct flight distance of roughly 220 miles.
Wow, it went that fast back then?
Yeah.
Wow. That's when you know you have money.
But it also says that early 1930 autogyros were slower than modern helicopters.
Hmm.
While modern helicopters make the trip in 90 minutes, 1930s technology required more time, similar to the flight speeds of a small early aviation aircraft.
Makes sense. Okay. So
Okay, so
they
normally it would be 90 minutes. This probably took about 3.5 hours.
right, in a convertible in the air.
Yeah, I've never heard of a convertible helicopter. It's just weird.
Yeah. The autocopter arrives at the White House with Warbucks and Annie, and they meet Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt. They argue over a ridiculous idea about how to make the orphans useful in the country, which seems very derogatory. Go, Jadine. I know you have opinions.
Yeah, they're children, they're not slaves.
Right.
They're kids. Their parents obviously fell on hard times, or like Annie's parents, they died. Ooh, sorry, spoiler alert. I don't know. I guess their mentality, I guess what I've learned in all of my years of wisdom is that there's a certain social status that certain people have that they don't necessarily understand other people's social statuses. And I'm I think maybe I think maybe that Eleanor Roosevelt didn't quite understand the social status of these orphans.
Right.
And maybe in her mind she felt that they would be thankful for this opportunity, but in reality, they're just children that don't know any better. And it just, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand also the sentiment on like giving them some purpose and perhaps some drive, but again, execution not there back in the 30s. This may have made sense, but I guess naming how our podcast is formatted, it did not age well.
No, not at all.
So now Annie sings the song Tomorrow for the president and first lady. And she starts singing and ropes everyone into it. And now they're all singing. And then we see Rooster and Lily at the orphanage in disguise, pretending to be Annie's parents to Hannigan.
I love how she has no idea that's her brother.
Right.
Come on, he looks exactly like he did when he came to first see you.
Literally. Are you that drunk?
And she's Rooster. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He looks literally exactly the same, but you
Yes.
don't recognize your own brother. Like, Carol, if you put on a mustache and a hat and you came to my door, I'd be like, Carol, why are you wearing a mustache?
Use.
Right. I don't understand why she doesn't recognize her brother.
Right. It's very bizarre. But we're going to go with it. They unveil themselves and release their grand plan to trick Warbucks into thinking that they are Annie's parents. And Rooster suggests a three-way split of $50,000, and Hannigan negotiates 50-50.
Why does she get 50? Why does she get 50%? It wasn't her idea.
I think because she's able to supply what they need, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
So Hannigan pulls out Annie's box and says that Annie's parents were killed in a fire, but Hannigan has the other half of the broken locket that Annie has. Molly hears this through the vent and says Annie needs to be warned. They find the envelope with the locket and they dance to the song Easy Street. Rooster does some killer gymnastics moves on the banister, and Hannigan gets her foot stuck through the wall. It was actually a pretty comedic musical performance.
It was.
Now, Molly informs the rest of the girls what's going on. They start running away and they're caught and put into the closet. We now flip to the autocopter, which is returning back to Warbucks' mansion. Grace tells Annie that her parents have not been found yet. Grace interviewed 865 couples and none knew
In
about the locket.
in that whole they were gone for I don't know. How long would you say Annie and Daddy Warbucks were gone? 10 hours? 12 hours? Maybe at the most. And she interviewed 865 people?
Couples.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. It didn't show that they spent the night in Washington, D.C.
No.
I'm assuming that they flew there and then they flew back. But how in the world did she interview that many people?
Right. That's insane. Yeah, I still can't I can't wrap my head around that. That's
Yeah.
a shitload of freaking people.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So Warbucks consoles Annie, who thinks that her parents are dead. But Warbucks isn't giving up and tells Annie that she is special. And back at the orphanage, the girls are in the closet and plot to get out of there through the ceiling. They get out and they scale their way down many stories of this building. Just scale down a pipe because that
Yeah. No
happens.
big deal.
Not
And
even a
they,
fire escape, a pipe.
yeah, and even Molly, who's like the little teeny girl,
Yeah.
like no problem.
And none of them like even had an incident of maybe falling off. They just scale the building.
Nah,
No,
they're professionals.
yeah. So now Grace is interviewing Rooster and Lily at the estate. Lily pulls out the locket and matches it up to Annie's. She also pulls out her birth certificate, which says her name is Anne Marie Mudge, born October 18th of 1922. So the proof is all there in the pudding. They have her original birth certificate. They have the
That
other half.
rooster actually forged.
Yes. They have the locket. I mean, how can you say no? So Annie kind of reluctantly says that she'll go pack. I mean, she really doesn't want to, seems like she really doesn't want to leave,
She
but
has this look on her face like, I don't believe
she's
it.
sketched.
Yeah, I don't believe these people at all. I don't
Yeah,
know how they did this, but I just don't believe it.
right. She's sketched. Warbucks also seems sketched, but he reluctantly writes them a check. They claim they didn't know anything about the reward. Bullshit. So we obviously know that they did. So now we see the orphanage girls, and they made their way to 1 Fifth Avenue, but they need to get to 987 Fifth Avenue. Annie doesn't want to keep the clothes that were purchased for her at Warbucks since her parents are obviously pretty poor. And she requested that those clothes be taken to the orphanage for her friends. Aw.
Yeah, but
Like,
like Daddy Warbucks should be just outfitting all these children.
at this point, yeah. And he,
Go,
and
go to
his,
Walmart or Target and get some of those like Garanimals or Cat and Jack or whatever it's called.
because
And
that
like,
was around in 33.
yes, just go to Walmart or something and
Yeah,
buy them all new clothes, Daddy Warbucks.
right.
God.
That was very touching for her to not want to take these prestigious clothes with these parents that it doesn't vibe. So that was very nice of her. Annie then starts singing the song Maybe again, and Warbucks watches them leave. And this is a tearjerker.
It is.
Like
It's really
that, oh,
sad.
like we saw his heart soften towards Annie. And
Like the
now,
Grinch.
yeah, and now
I was
taken
sad that
away.
Sandy was in the back of that little
I
truck,
know. Yeah. Yeah, not only did he lose Annie, he lost Sandy.
which would be even harder for me.
Yeah. Oh,
Forget the little kids. I'd
yeah.
be really
Forget the
upset about
little
Luke.
girl. Give me the
Yeah,
dog.
give me the dog. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. So this brought a little tear to my eye. I don't remember it being that emotional watching it as a kid.
because we didn't care.
No.
We just cared about the musical numbers.
Exactly. So they pull out of the estate, and Hannigan then gets in the car, and now Annie knows what's up. The car stops where the orphanage girls happen to be at, and Sandy jumps out of the back of the car and goes with them. So Sandy kind of leads them to the mansion. They make it there.
Good
And
dog.
yes, Sandy
Good
is a
dog.
she's a rock star. So they make it and they're just like yelling at the gate. And the security dude just lets all of these like homeless looking girls inside of the gate to Warbucks. Like, good security, bro.
I mean, they're little kids.
still, I mean, you're security for a reason. At least
They
vet
said
them
they were
out.
they said they were from the orphanage.
They were just yelling in spurts, and I don't know what the security dude actually paid
Listen,
attention to. Listen,
listen,
Linda.
Linda, if they had to do a full-blown interview with these children before they let them into the mansion, that would have taken up too much time in this movie, okay? So
This is true.
the security guy was just like, "Yeah, come on in. No big
Yeah,
deal." Because we only had 30 seconds for that scene.
right. And they have 30 bedrooms. So sure, just
Exa-
bring all the kids.
Yeah, they just believed them, you
Right.
know, that they know Annie. I mean, then again, they knew everything. They knew that, and they had Sandy with them.
That's true.
So they were like,
Yeah.
oh shit, Sandy's with them. Sandy's telling us that something's wrong.
Good girl.
Yeah, boy.
Boy.
Good boy.
Good
Good dog.
boy. Good puppy. So they make their way up to the front door, and Punjab opens the door, and Molly faints because of Punjab's size. And they're all talking at once. But Molly tells Warbucks that those weren't Annie's parents, they were bad people. So now all the
And
police are.
oh, those were bad people. They took Annie and they're just like, okay, let's go on this giant search. But I would have been like, okay, what do you mean? Why are you saying this?
I feel like we are missing some conversation that happened somewhere
Oh,
in there.
yeah. Like when we did cutscenes, they were probably actually talking. You're right. You're right. Okay.
Yeah. So again, this would have been going on for hours and hours if we saw every portion of this, but
Right.
I'm sure Molly explained that she overheard these people talking to Hannigan and getting the locket. So I'm going to give that the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
So now the police are on high alert that Annie has been kidnapped. Punjab is in the autocopter, and Warbucks and Grace are in their fancy wheels. And it is now a mad manhunt for Annie. Warbucks gets on a car phone. Hello? What?
Yeah. It's maybe back then it was like a radio,
It
like a
must have
police radio of some sort that they just had in their cars.
it
But
must have been.
also, like Punjab is just he's in the convertible helicopter and he's just hanging out the side,
Oh
just
yeah.
looking down on the street. Like you're up in the air, dude. Like birds are gonna
Yeah.
hit you in the face, bugs are gonna hit you in the face, and you're just like, yeah, no big deal. I'm just gonna hang over the edge of this helicopter.
Yeah.
Where were the
Don't
safety measures back then?
don't you do this on the weekend?
Where was the FAA?
Nah. We don't need any of that.
I mean, that man could have gotten his head chopped off by those copter blades.
And he would have done that.
He would have done it for Annie
He would have.
because they've got Annie.
They got Annie. Well, over in Rooster's car, Annie says that she's got to go.
They always got to use the bathroom.
Right? So they pull over and Annie runs away from them, and Rooster is after her. Annie has the check and rips it up, and Rooster chases Annie up the railroad bridge. And this is where we see Hannigan soften, and she tells him to stop. She's a baby, and she won't let Rooster kill her.
Wow, what a nice lady.
Right. But he decides, screw you, I'm going to get this little girl. And he knocks out his sister.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
And Annie witnesses. That
Yeah.
has to be traumatic for a child.
Absolutely.
All of this is very traumatic, actually. I feel like Annie needs, I mean, thank God that Daddy Warbucks has money because he's going to have to put her through some serious therapy. I mean, she thought
Right.
her parents were still out there. They're not. Then she goes through like this traumatic childhood in an orphanage where she's abused. And then all this stuff that happens with the chase and whatever, this guy almost kills her.
Yeah.
And she needs a therapist.
Man. Ugh. To say the least. So now Rooster is chasing Annie up a railroad bridge. So the bridge is not down for the railroad to go across it, it is up. so that boats can go through it. And they're mad dashing up this railroad bridge, and Punjab sees commotion on the bridge. He undoes his headpiece to make a tether for Annie to grab to. This man is a fucking hero.
He's the only one who does anything. Like Punjab is like the hero of the whole movie.
He is. And
Like,
Sandy.
oh, yes, of course. The dog is always number one. But like he's the only one who actually does anything. I
Yeah.
mean, Daddy Warbucks and Grace, they're just standing there. Oh no, oh no,
Oh,
oh
oh,
no. Oh
ooh,
my God.
ah.
And like, where's Asp?
Yeah,
He's not even there.
right.
Is he back at the mansion choreographing everything with the all the staff members? Is he the one that coordinates all of that? I don't know.
That
But
could
like
be.
Punjab is the only one who does anything.
Yeah,
And he's very resourceful.
he is. And speaking of that, so he sees the commotion on the bridge, and this is where Annie is now hanging from the top of the railroad bridge,
Trauma, trauma.
and Rooster's trying to loosen her up so that she falls.
Yeah.
But Punjab is lowered from it with the autocopter,
The
and
convertible helicopter.
yeah, he ends up just kicking Rooster in the face so that he slides all the way down the bridge, and he is then caught by the police. Punjab grabs Annie
He's
like
just
with
like,
one
hey
arm.
girl, I got you.
Yeah. Oh,
I got this.
what you doing here, girlfriend?
Yeah, no big deal.
Do
I
you
do
need
this
a
every
ride?
day.
Yeah. I'll give you a ride. I just got my autocopter right here, so just hop on in.
Yeah, they timed that out perfectly.
Yes. So everyone is safe and happy. Rooster's not happy, and Lily's probably not happy either. And I think Hannigan, well, she was also arrested too, so she's probably not happy.
She arrested?
I saw her with cops, so that's fuzzy to me. But I
I
feel
think in the next scene it proves that she was not
okay.
arrested.
So, but I feel like she should be, and I'll mention that. So
Yeah.
in the finale medley that is now playing, we have a carnival going on at the mansion, and the president and first lady are there, and the orphans and Hannigan. So why didn't she get arrested
And
for
why is she at this party?
rights?
Excuse my language, but fuck that bitch. Like, why is she
Yeah.
at that party? She caused all of this.
Yes.
She's the whole reason all of this happened.
Yes.
And now she's just, oh, hey, Punjab, help me off of this elephant. And he helps her. And it's, lady, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is everyone doing?
So in the descriptions I read, it was saying the redeemed Hannigan. What redemption did you have just because you told your brother you weren't going to let him kill her?
Right. I'm
Like,
sorry. You didn't do anything. And also,
no.
you were part of this scheme.
Right. She is part of this conspiracy.
You were planning to defraud Mr. Warbucks out of money. You
Right.
should be in jail.
Yes.
She should be in jail for kidnapping and for conspiracy.
Yes. Singing It's a Hard Knock Life while scrubbing the floor with a toothbrush.
Exactly. That would have been a better ending.
Fuck you, Hannigan.
Yeah.
So now we see Warbucks lay a kiss on Grace and gives Annie his locket. And Annie says, I love you too, Daddy Warbucks. And Sandy barks at the fireworks and scene.
I love a good party with fireworks.
And elephants, and yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it was a carnival. Usually, when I have carnival parties, I always have jungle animals present.
absolutely.
I think that's appropriate.
It's New York City. You can do anything you want.
Right. I mean, they have those animals readily available in New York City.
Absolutely.
They just stopped by for the party.
Or Warbucks has a zoo in the backyard and they're his.
Does he own that much land?
We don't know.
We don't know. Is that an actual address on Fifth Avenue? Can we look it up?
Ooh.
Is there really a mansion there?
It was what, 985, 987?
987 Fifth Avenue. How much land does he have? Oh, oh, wait. The lost William B. Leeds mansion that was located at 987 Fifth Avenue. Now it's an apartment building. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there used to be like a mansion there, but today it is long gone. Yada yada blah blah blah. But it did not look like what was in this movie. It looks really pretty, like it was really pretty. It doesn't look like Daddy Warbucks' mansion, but I'm gonna assume that he did not have room for his own personal zoo.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay.
I would also like to look up. Okay, so walking from 1 Fifth Avenue to 987 takes an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put this in perspective, kind of going from kind of Soho area up to Upper East Side.
Wow.
So, yeah. But it was
Well,
worth it.
yeah, I mean, everything worked out in the end, so that's all that matters. Her friends those are some good friends that they were willing to go to these lengths in order to save their friend.
Absolutely.
And even Pepper, who hated Annie,
Right.
she went with them.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Where did you watch this?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure. I feel like I somehow ended up on it on Daily Motion.
Oh.
So I'm the number one proponent for watching movies for free. I'm not paying for it. Usually it's Internet Archive, but I Google searched watch the movie Annie from 1982 for free, and there were multiple videos that came up of the full version. So I believe that it was Daily Motion that had a video that you could watch the full movie. But I will say there were multiple ways to watch it for free. I can't guarantee that some of those websites were not websites that you probably shouldn't go to, but I did watch it for free.
Excellent. I love that.
But if you wanted to watch it another way and pay for it,
There's YouTube, Apple TV, Prime Video, and Fandango TV. All currently, you can rent them for $3.99.
yeah. So what did people have to say about this, Carol?
They gave it a splat on Tomato Meter with a 50%. And the
Hmm.
popcorn meter was at 69%. Normally, there's like a weights and balances here. I feel like those are a little redundant of each other, but
Yeah.
the Metascore gave it a generally unfavorable with a score of 39. But the user score was favorable with 6.2, which correlates with the IMDb rating of 6.6.
Hmm.
So I guess you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah. So our boy, Roger Ebert, is he our boy? We don't like him.
Yeah.
He gave it a 3 out of 4. Is that a tomato?
What?
He gave it a
Yeah.
tomato.
You liked it.
But he said it's like some kind of dumb toy that doesn't do anything or go anywhere, but it is fun to watch as it spins mindlessly around and around. Yeah, thanks, Raj.
So that's like his short version. I mean, he has a very long review of this,
Yeah,
but in general, he actually did like it. Not sure why they only put this little blurb on the tomato meter, but whatever.
whatever. And then Michael Blowen from the Boston Globe gave it a splat. Producer Ray Stark and director John Huston have relied more on the rigid style of the comic strip than on the high-steppin' pizzazz of the Broadway show. They've transformed a big-hearted hit that won 7 Tonys into a small-minded musical. Which, if you've seen the musical and you compare it to the movie, there are many differences. And I get that.
Okay.
But they're different for a reason. I don't think that you can compare the two. I
Right.
don't know. Bob Thomas of the Associated Press gave it a tomato, and he said, now for some good news. Aileen Quinn makes a perfect Annie, recalling Shirley Temple with her room lighting smile and perky manner.
I thought Aileen Quinn did a great job.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Nobody can ever live up to that Annie. Maybe I
Right.
shouldn't have said that. Because there is a remake. I haven't seen the remake.
Many. Yeah. Oh, the
Um,
2014 one?
yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Me
Uh,
neither.
maybe I should. But no, I mean, it's like she's just Annie. That's just who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with that. Oh boy. So here we go.
Um,
So, cringe meter. I'm going to say that this movie definitely has some cringe.
what level of cringe?
That's hard.
It
Um,
is.
I'm gonna say that, okay, if we're going off of the storyline, it's totally cringe. The whole fact that Daddy Warbucks rents a kid, that's super cringy. Miss Hannigan, who just never wears actual clothes, she just wears like lingerie and jewelry, and she's just a horny alcoholic, is like pretty cringy.
Yeah.
Her antics are cringy.
Think she would be better suited at a brothel as like the
Yeah.
head madam.
Yeah, for sure. And like she makes out with a radio. She drinks a lot. She's just not qualified to care for children.
Nope.
She's just not. The fact that she sings a song about murdering children, it's pretty cringy. The characters of Punjab and Asp, I didn't go down that rabbit hole to see how those characters were received. My initial reaction to them is that they were cringy because they used certain music and certain dance moves and certain ways to make them known for their nationalities. And I don't think that needed to be added to the movie. I understand that the character who plays Punjab, that he does come from Trinidad and Tobago, I believe is where he's from. So I guess I don't know enough about Asp to say where he was from. I just think that their characters were a little, to have these people who worked for this, is he a billionaire or is he a millionaire? I don't know. This wealthy man that has these essentially servants of his that are, it's a little cringy. So I think the fact that, I think those facts, off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything else that was super cringy. But on that note, there are a lot of parts about this movie that are great. The choreography, the fact that, I mean, Annie knows how to, what, sing, tap dance, dance,
Act.
act. I mean, she's just like multi-talented ginger orphan. Like
Yes.
just amazing. I mean, I guess Daddy Warbucks hit the jackpot with her. She's just a super adorable, multi-talented kid. I think that the fact that they have this party at the end and they're like, hey, Miss Hannigan can come to this party, that's weird. But again, the songs get stuck in your head. When I was a kid, I remember really loving this movie. I also saw that Aileen Quinn won Worst Supporting Actress for her role in this movie.
From where?
Great question. She got a golden raspberry.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. So it was nominated for Worst Picture, nominated for Worst Director. It won for Worst Supporting Actress for Aileen Quinn. And it was nominated for Worst Screenplay and Worst New Star.
That's rough.
Yeah. So, yikes. I think that maybe at the time it wasn't as well received as now that 44 years later, we've been watching this movie repeatedly and you learn what parts of it you love and what parts of it you skip over. But I mean, there are parts that are adorable, and there's parts like now watching it as an adult, you realize just how sad this movie is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of sadness to it. These poor little kids that just dream of having a house with a mom and a dad, and like waking up, and their parents are just drinking coffee, and they just want to have a house. That's sad. And then the fact that the part where Annie leaves Daddy Warbucks' house and you realize that now they've formed this bond with this kid who really turned the household upside down and pulled at everyone's heartstrings. Literally every person in that whole house, right down to the gardener, literally fell in love with her because she's just a great kid with such spunk and kind of like this little attitude that when she left, you saw this side of this hardened man turn soft. And you're like, wow, this is really sad. When they get to the part where they realize that she's kidnapped, you can tell that that part where Rooster goes after her. I remember when I was a kid being like, this is
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
super scary. He wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, he's going to catch her and he's going to kill this girl. So, I mean, I think as an adult, you look at it like, wow, this was a really sad movie. It all works out in the end, and they have this great fancy carnival party that everybody's invited to, even the president. And he somehow had time to attend this party. And it's
Sure.
a party to celebrate the fact that what, Annie didn't fall to her death
It was
and the adoption.
and it was the next day. It was the day after the incident.
Yeah, so it's yay, you didn't fall off of a bridge and die.
I chalk it up as an adoption party. Like I got you.
But like at the end is when he actually gave her the locket. So it's like, what was the party to celebrate that she didn't die?
Probably.
Do you get a party when you almost die? Anyway, yeah. So I haven't watched this movie in a very long time. I remember watching it a lot when we were younger, like a lot when we were younger. I think if it came on, there are catchy tunes and it reads as a musical. So, and I love musicals. So I love the draw of the musical aspect of it. So yeah, I probably would rewatch it if it came on, but it is pretty flippin' cringy. I don't
Okay.
believe that. So if you ask the question about can it be remade, obviously it has,
Right.
but they do change some aspects to this movie, which from what I understand, they changed a lot of the cringy parts of the movie. So
It didn't age well, but it could
it
be remade differently.
correct. It did not age well, but yes, it could be remade by reworking some of these scenes. Yes. What did you
Word.
think?
So I also remember watching this a lot because I feel like I was the one obsessed with musicals, along with Popeye.
Aw. Oh my God.
And
Yes, so
just,
I remember you acting this one out too a little bit.
yeah, I always loved this movie. Never quite understood the deep concept of it until I know I've watched it like a few years ago, but even then, I just feel like it was on in the background just to hear the musical numbers. But now in present day Carol, it really tugged at my heart, mostly because I've done a lot of service in the last couple of years with the foster system. And I don't even know if there are really technically orphanages anymore. If,
No. There's group
yeah,
homes, there's sort of environment, but they don't call them orphanages anymore.
right. And to even see that children who did not ask for this life, the life that they were put into having to live, treated just so horribly. I mean, this wasn't a delinquent home. It's not like they were running away and doing bad
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that too. The treatment of these kids was just
It's hard.
they didn't deserve the way that Miss Hannigan treated them. Like it
Yeah.
was really that was another aspect of it being so sad is
And
that you're
it
like,
it feels
wow,
like there's a connotation of them being unwanted. And I know the ins and outs of how the orphanages worked back then. I don't know if it was like a safe haven where if you couldn't have your child, you just took them there, or if it was
yeah,
literally for kids that did not have parents, which again could be parents willingly giving them up or passing away like Annie's. But to say that they were unwanted, I feel is very hurtful. There are some, besides how the children were treated, I agree with your cringy status or your cringy review of how Aspen Punjab were portrayed.
that Daddy Warbucks borrows a kid for a week. He rents a kid.
Yeah, I mean, just going in to rent a kid is just unfathomable. There's just so many things wrong with this that it, so I put this on the totally cringe scale as well for all of those above reasons, but I also absolutely adore all of the musical numbers and the songs, and I love the costumes. The costume design is amazing. The choreography is great. I thought Aileen Quinn did a fabulous job. I think this is a classic movie that we will always forever watch. And you know what, it's like when you watch, or I'm sorry, when you watch a movie after reading a really good book and the movie just doesn't portray the book as well. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're limited to how much time this movie can be. And so there's a lot of parts that they have to
Right.
eliminate. And so you know a lot more than what they're portraying in the movie. And you're like, why'd they leave this out? And what about this part? And,
Right.
and
So I don't want to watch the remake of this because I feel like it could ruin it. Because I
yeah.
do like how this one was made. So I'm
Yeah.
curious, but I also don't want it to ruin it.
I read some little like bullet points about what the differences were. And I was like, okay, but like, I don't know that I really want to watch it because I am fond of, and I grew up on this version of Annie. And
Right.
so I don't know.
Yeah, I want to remember it as I have for the last 44 years. I don't want it to be misconstrued in my brain and tainted by some other version that isn't done nearly as what I feel well as this. So, to our two listeners, maybe one, maybe you could comment and let us know.
Yes, let us
And
know.
your comparison of the Annies. But yes, I would definitely leave this on if I were to just randomly come across it. Because I do love the musical numbers. Always have, always will.
Yes,
And
and we know every word by heart.
correct. So that's my take.
All right, friends, that was Annie, the movie that convinced us all that if we stayed optimistic long enough, a billionaire might show up and fix our lives while a stray dog steals the show. We had singing, schemes, chaos, and Miss Hannigan making questionable life choices at every turn. But underneath it all, this movie was really about hope. Big, musical, wildly unrealistic hope. So whether you grew up watching it on VHS or are just now realizing how unhinged this plot is, one thing still holds true. The sun will come out tomorrow. And honestly, we are all kind of counting on it.
Thanks for joining us at the Shermer High Alumni Association. If you had as much fun as we did, hit follow, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow 80s movie lovers. Until next time, be kind, and don't forget to rewind.
Bye.